Good morning, everyone. My name is James Naughton. I am a employee assistance counselor with Life and Work Connections. I'm glad you're joining us this morning. We're going to do some more of our practice of connecting and listening to our bodies with just a brief explanation into the process, and really spend most of the time in the experiential, or just practicing and doing this process, which I think is really the most valuable part, so that you can begin to engage in these exercises that will help in bringing us to the present. For feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, these exercises are very helpful to take a moment to rejoin with those internal resources that we already have to help us be present, to engage with the world in a way that we would like to or feel capable of doing. My background briefly is in the mental health field. I've worked in the mental health field for about 21 years, mostly at the inpatient level in inpatient psychiatric settings for addiction, trauma, and other mental health disorders like addiction, or depression and bipolar and other types of mood disorders. And while they're also working on how to be present and most able to respond to their needs, we're doing the same thing today as any other human being would need to, especially in these times. So that's what we're going to do now. And to begin, we're just going to go on to the first slide, just briefly. And we're going to talk about this basic exercise involving the felt sense. And what do we mean by the felt sense, or felt sense awareness? And all that really means is we're learning to listen to the body with a certain intention. And that intention is really at the heart of the definition of listening. It's to give attention to our body. So when we have a sensation in our body, instead of going into our head and thinking about what it means, setting aside that part and just going to the experience. What is this feeling? And listening to it. We're going to wait attentively. So we're going to listen, but we're not going to direct the sensation or shut it down or avoid it. We're just going to hold it. Hold it like maybe in the same way we might hold a child that might be hurt or needing attention. We're just going to hold and accept whatever we're experiencing as what it is. We're going to heed to that and give it our full awareness to receive what it has to tell us. Does it have a shape? Does it have a color, this sensation? Is it heavy? Is it sharp? Is it spongy? Does it have a temperature? We're going to give it time to tell us more about it, and then just accept it. It doesn't have to be anything more than what it is. And when we can do that, when we can meet those experiences, that's a real level of presence that helps us deal with other kinds of stress that come up in our lives when we just take the time to do that briefly every day. And this exercise we're about to do, simply and the way it was taught to me, was kind of called the sandwich exercise. And what you think about in terms of a sandwich, you've got the bread on the outside, and you've got whatever you have on the inside. So I put both meat and tofu in there so we put the vegetarian and the meat lovers part of this. But the purpose of this is to show that in this exercise, the first part of it is going to be about paying attention to things around us that we can see and touch. And then we're going to go on the inside and bring it to our body and say, gosh, how does my body tell me I like to engage with this? Whether it's a scent I'm aware of in this room, or something that I'm seeing or hearing, how can I bring it to the body and ask my body, what is about this that feels good? And how does my body tell me this? And hang out with that. So it's really about learning how to orient and pay attention to pleasure. In all of our stress, in all of our worries right now, our nervous systems, our brains, our minds are always focusing on what's the next thing to worry about. What's the next thing on the news that we have to worry about? And if we continue to do that, our brains just get hooked into being anxious all the time and focusing on the threat. but we can also give our body a chance to focus on what's pleasurable and what's calming, help our brain dip its toe into the pool of calm and realize, hey, nothing bad happened when I took my attention off of something upsetting or stressful and focus on something that's calming. It's very helpful for the brain to have points of rest. So this is what we're going to do. So I'd like you to sit comfortably, just find in your chair. Just be aware of letting your feet kind of be touching the ground if that's comfortable in your chair, and just be aware of where your feet are and that solid level feeling. Your body wants to know where you are. So knowing where your feet are and feeling the ground is very helpful. So let's first notice that, okay? And like with what Tanya and Bob talk about, let's just put our hand on our heart for a moment. Let's just take a couple of breaths together. Great. Maybe just tap our feet a little bit in the ground there, just to give our body a chance to connect to the ground, and then just let them rest. And now what I'm going to ask you to do in the first part of the sandwich exercise is to just let your eyes wander in the room that you're sitting in right now. Just kind of letting your eyes just look around, kind of get a sense where everything is. Maybe it's helpful to start looking at things closer to you. Or maybe it's easier to look at things further away from you. Who knows? But just notice that. And I'm going to ask you to pay attention to, where do my eyes want to rest? What do they want to look at right now? And it doesn't have to be anything in particular. It's just something that feels right or feels calming. Or maybe you experience a sense of curiosity that you want to focus, so there's a draw to it. So if you sense that, I want you to let your eyes find that right now, and then just hold your gaze on whatever that is. And it can be anything at all, nothing special. It's just what the body wants to do. So once you find that, just looking at whatever it is that you want to look at. And now we're gonna go, as I'm looking at this, I wonder what it is about what I'm looking at that I like the most about it. Is it the color or the shape? Is it the fact that it's kind of in an open space, or how far it is away from me? And just noticing and wondering about that. And just let yourself be aware of, maybe there's some quality about it that's predominant, that you notice the most, that you like. And then once you have that, I want you to bring your attention back to your body as you're looking at this object or whatever it is, and maybe just reflect on this one thought. How does my body tell me that I like this? What is the feeling in my body, the sensation, not the thought, but what is the sensation in my body that is pleasurable when I look at whatever it is I'm looking at? And this can be wherever it is in the body. It doesn't matter. It can be in our head. It can be in our chest. It can be in our legs. It doesn't matter. But let's bring our attention to whatever that sensation might be. It might be a light feeling, an openness, or a loosening. And we're just going to hold on to that. And let's just pay attention to whatever it is that feels pleasurable in our body, that's connected to this experience of whatever you're looking at right now. Let's do that for about 10 seconds. Just observing and noticing where that feeling is in the body and holding it. Okay, that's good. Great. Now I want you to bring your attention back to the room again. And again, just letting your eyes look around again. And this is called external orientation. So while we attended to an internal experience, a physical sensation in our body, now we're going back out to looking around the room again. And this helps our brain realize that, hey, it was okay to notice something calming and nothing bad happened to me. Everything is where it was before and nothing is harming me or threatening me. So we're just letting our body kind of have an experience of going, oh, okay, we could notice something calming and everything was all right. And that's important. Our body learns by experiencing, not by being told. So let's go back to attending to whatever it was we were looking at before. And again, let yourself connect to that place your eyes rested earlier. And again, letting that experience happen again and just notice and wonder and say, I wonder what it is about what I'm looking at or where I'm letting my eyes rest that feels pleasurable right now. What quality, the color or shape. Just noticing it and even just letting yourself look at it, even if you don't know why. But it's just nice to look at. And as you're looking at it, let yourself then bring that experience into your body. You can either continue to look at the object or close your eyes and have the image of that in your mind, if that helps even more, and say, where do I feel this experience in my body? How does my body tell me that where I'm looking or where I have looked is pleasurable? Where in my body do I feel that feeling? And it might be the same exact place. So bring your attention there. And maybe as you're bringing it there, just wondering about the physical experience. Like, is it warmer there? That feels pleasure? Is it cooler? It might be. Maybe it's soft there. Maybe there's a texture to it. Maybe it's wispy, like a cloud, or maybe it has a color to it even. So bringing attention to whatever qualities it has in your body and noticing where that is. It might even have a shape, and just being aware of that. Let's notice that now for about 15 seconds. And if your thoughts get in the way, just notice the thought and then bring yourself back to the physical experience. That's okay. Great. And then just letting our eyes slowly open up and look around the room again. Letting your eyes go where they want. And this time, as you're looking around, maybe they go back to what you looked at before, or maybe you found something new or a place where they want to go, and that's okay too. So maybe it's a new place, or it's the same place, but let's bring our attention back to where we were looking, reflecting on that question, what is it about that I'm looking at? What does it feel, what feels good about it, or what do I like about it? And then bringing that attention inward. How does my body tell me that what I'm noticing feels good? So what's the physical sensation with this experience? So if it's calming, maybe just say, where is that calm feeling in my body now? And bringing your attention there. And let's hold that experience like we're holding something precious and valuable in our hands and noticing what it's like for about 15 seconds. Great, really good. And then just open your eyes and look around again. And this time we're just going to look around the room, and just to help us get right back into our bodies a little bit, or just process what we did, just tapping the center of your sternum, You can use a fist, just kind of tapping lightly as you look around. And maybe as you're looking around, just maybe reflecting on, as I'm looking around, do things feel the same or do they feel different in some way? Maybe you had a spontaneous kind of sigh or your shoulders dropped a little bit. Maybe that happened. And that's all a sign that your body is moving into a more restful state. And the more you practice this, the more this just happens spontaneously. And so with practice and a little time, you'll just be joining with your body with easier and easier effort. Thank you for this time that we've had together. I'm really glad we spent this time, and I hope you practice this a little bit each day, and you will find that you'll be able to be more present in other situations where you want to be more resilient, which is really what the practice is about, meeting those experiences in an embodied, present way. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week when we continue to practice these exercises and using them in different ways. Goodbye.